Syria. I went before the civil war and it was honestly one of the loveliest places I've ever been. With super nice friendly people. Add to that the food is amazing. It would break my heart to see some of the places now. Chad, definitely the most depressing country I have ever been to. South Africa. Some random truck rolled up outside of our hotel and got in a shootout for no apparent reason. I walked out after the shooting to see around 7 people dead or at least injured, including our tour guide. I want visit my own country if I could. GTFO of it. Iran. Haiti. Went on a medical mission. One day was spent at the beach. We got caught in the middle of a protest. I was groped. Several other people were punched. It was terrifying. They only stopped when one of our translators yelled that we were medical workers. We only ended up spending 1 hour at the beach so we wouldn't end up driving back through the same area at night. When we reached that area it was clear of people. A few overturned vehicles were on fire. A UN detail was hanging out in a big armored vehicle with a very large gun on top. I can't imagine how awful it must be now with all of the civil unrest. At the rate it's going, South Africa, backpacked around in 2009, from Cape Town to Joburg, and just loved it. Legit my favorite country I traveled in, because it is so diverse in nature, people, just about every way, but as things get more dangerous, I'm just not sure if I'll ever get back there. Seeing footage of the riots right now breaks my heart. If anyone from South Africa is reading this, BTW, I wish you all the best and hope you stay safe. Egypt, nice place, some great things to see, but the fucking street vendors are just horrible bastards. Pounce on you as soon as you get off the coach, trying to put shit on you. Some fucker literally tried to take the wallet out of my shorts pocket, not pickpocketing. Brazen with me stood looking at him. I lost my shit at this point and was quickly surrounded by about 10 of the fuckers. I fancied my chances, to be honest. But not fucking worth getting stabbed or getting locked up in a shithole jail. Edit, typos, Afghanistan. Don't think I need to elaborate. Cambodia, but only because I was mugged in Phnom Penh. Egypt, I made the mistake of going to a store on my own, dressed in a long-sleeve dress. The owner approached me and started massaging my neck with a fragrant oil. I escaped it on the street. All men were laughing at me. Apparently I was wearing a scent that only prostitutes wear, or so they told me. I was assaulted and ridiculed. I was staying at a 5 hotel, where a cleaner, male, took down my curtains. There were guys standing outside of my room after dark, waving at me and my friend, and laughing. Scrolling down till I see my country. Egypt. Honestly, I didn't like the vibe from the locals. South Africa. Beautiful place but the crime is horrible. Someone tried to kidnap me when I was 9. Zimbabwe, swamped every day by street vendors, every day. Venezuela, I visited my extended family there, near Caracas, as a young child and had an amazing time, but things there have really gone south since then. Pretty much all my family members that were there have left for obvious reasons. Yugoslavia, loved my time there, but it no longer exists. Egypt seems to be mentioned a bunch so far and I'd like to plus 100 that. I've traveled to over 15 countries and Egypt was the first that came to mind when I saw the title. A nice man sitting next to me on a bus to Cairo had the shit kicked out of him by police at the Suez Canal checkpoint. They literally were punching him in the face as hard as they could while he was in the chair next to me, begging them to stop until they dragged him off, never to be seen again probably. Like people are bashing Morocco because of beggars or annoying negotiating tactics. But in Morocco I at least never once feared for my safety or the safety of my group once while in Morocco. You can travel that country relatively freely and have a decent enough time if you go to the right spots and have a made time if you go to the wrong ones. Egypt crosses a totally different line, especially given the fact it is still considered somewhat a tourist destination and not lumped in with Syria/Afghanistan/Iraq etc. I definitely say it should be widely considered and grouped closer to Afghanistan or Syria than say Israel or Turkey. The pyramids area was absolutely disgusting, so many people there to fuck you. Mistreated camels. Little children crawling through garbage piles. If you are a woman or have a woman in your group then holy fuck it's even worse. It is impossible to stay out past sunset as the danger and sketch levels go to 100. And I'm not just being sensitive, people assault and harass women. They'll berate you etc. I was so lucky I looked Egyptian, according to them, while I was there and it still didn't help much. Fuck Egypt man. My good friend is Egyptian. Amazing history. Some great people for sure. But fuck that place, and he agrees 100%, especially since he's a Coptic Christian. 2 good things there. 1. Great swimming and chilling on the Sinai, went to Bir Suir near Israel and it was not bad at all. 2. Some of the museums were pretty fucking cool. Nassau. Did a bus tour there when we stopped for a day while on a cruise. Beautiful beaches but the rampant poverty and crime was really depressing. Jamaica, got mugged within the first 5 minutes I kid you not. Monaco, wasn't that interesting? The buildings are really ugly for how rich it is. The views are pretty though so I'd recommend the bus from Nice. Ghana, Spent 3 months working there. Nice enough, but I think I saw most of what I wanted to. And for a relatively prosperous African nation it was still damn hard work getting around, etc. Accra is pleasant for an African city though. And the people are very cool. So I suppose I wouldn't go back as there are other places I'd rather go. Laos. My family is from there. My mom's side is problematic, abuse of all kinds, narcissism, etc. My dad's side went through my bags and luggage trying to steal stuff. I am sad because I'm a first-generation Asian American and I have no family in the States either that I can count on. I have no family in my immediate family. Everything is dysfunctional. This went down a weird road. Sorry. My friend said he's never going back to Afghanistan because of the public beheadings. Update. Sorry everybody. The country is Saudi Arabia, not Afghanistan. Japan. I'm fat, black, and none too cute. Older people spit at me. No one would sit next to me on the train, or would make it painfully obvious they were uncomfortable during rush hours. Young people, adults/teens/older kids, has no filter and would happily laugh at, make faces, or even throw things at me, though that was only in Shibuya. It was hard for me to get work as a teacher, even with my training and credentials, because I had to have my picture, and no one wanted a black, and ugly, teacher. I felt like a monster the entire time and slowly shut myself away until I had quit my jobs and only left at night to get food from a convenience store. The last time I went outside during the day in Japan, I was going to cancel my cell phone plan before I left. And their kids/teens pointed and laughed before running away screaming I was a monster. I was mortified when the adults looked at me and I could hear them go, "Well, look at her." It took me 4 months back home to leave my apartment during the day in the States. I didn't go thinking I'd be loved. Just thought I'd have a nice experience in my 20s. Japan is a modern, beautiful country with some wonderful people. But I just didn't get lucky enough to meet them. My pet peeve is when I mention this, people go, "Oh, Japan was great to me." You must have done something wrong. I'm glad you had a good time. I hope the next person has a great time too. But this happened my experience. That's all. Anything in hot and humid climate. After 7 days of 35 degrees Celsius, feels like 45 degrees Celsius. I'm done. Dubai. While interesting, it's really just a total rip-off of Western culture. I flew 12 hours from NYC only to be surrounded by Cheesecake Factory, Wendy's, California Pizza Kitchen, etc. No real culture. Venezuela. If I ever get out of this shit country, I'm never coming back. Afghanistan. Tunisia. The drive from the airport to our resort was a sight to behold. Felt as if we were traveling through a live war zone. Didn't feel safe out and about at all. And it's just depressing to look around and see the state of the country. Massive shame, because their beaches are lovely. Afghanistan. Not a fan. Iraq. One and done. No fucking thank you. Everywhere sucks. Got it. Thailand. Went there during the coup in 2013. Got stuck. Too much prostitution and child porn/prostitution out in the open for me. Also being there during the coup and getting a crazy flu and hospitalized in Bangkok fucking sucked. Love my Thai friends but Bangkok and Pattaya are just too crazy for me. Egypt. Dirty. Full of people trying to con you. They straight up hate women. Flies that are bigger than onions. See also, Morocco and Tunisia. Tunisia gets bonus points for every bit of food making me ill. Macau. It's a distilled version of China that amplifies seedy prostitution and the love of wealth and gaudy, flashy status symbols above all else. Good food, though. Morocco was basically confined to the hotel as you were confronted by aggressive beggars and shop workers. Singapore. Great company and friendly people, except on the first day I was in a sports bar beaten up. My assaulter was a man, which I later learned was the boyfriend to a woman I asked to dance. Sucky punched and went to the floor immediately, getting kicked. People intervened after what felt like a minutes when he picked up a chair to continue. That per se would not have been a reason not to visit it anymore, it's what followed. The bartender told me I should leave ASAP and sleep it off, after multiple hits against the head, or he will get police involved and tell them I started the fight. Since I suspected a concussion I called 911. I fled the bar and called 911 on the streets. There the bartender or manager followed me with 2 big employees of his and tried to get me with slight force in his back office to talk so I don't ruin my life and that of my family in a lawsuit. I actually had to shout on a full street something silly like emergency help multiple times at some point so he and his men would leave me alone. It was clearly meant as imposing and I am very thankful I didn't follow him in his office with his 2 strong men. Eventually the ambulance came. I got first aid and made my statement. While I heavily tried to get any information off the police and visited them and my embassy multiple times there, I noticed they had no interest in following my case. There were multiple security cameras, A bar and a street full of fitness and a lively and well-esteemed shopping/entertainment area. Just no interest of the police to get bad reputation for their city-state, I suppose. Singapore has a very low crime rate, but I am quite sure my attack never showed up in any statistic whatsoever. Emails and follow-ups by myself, insurance and my local police were ignored. Just dead silent and condolence from my embassy. Still have minor side issues on my left eye and very minor headaches after 4 years. UAE, Dubai specifically, unless I'm at the airport on a stopover. Such a soulless place, and the food was terrible in general. My own country if I ever get the hell out of here. Pretoria. Fuck them.